Well, hello, everybody. Hope
Greetings.
everybody's good out there in YouTube world.
Mute that.
Zax is here. Hey, Zax. What's
It's an
going
all-out Zax attack.
on? How you doing, Matt?
Doing good. Another, lovely evening in New Jersey. Starts as snow when it's warm and gets cold and turns to rain for some reason.
Yep.
And I could blame global warming, but I'd rather blame the communists who run New Jersey.
Yes, it's those commies.
How dare they? How dare they?
Hello, Melvin. Good to have you, man. Good to see you. So yeah. Well, remakes, original or remake, the rabbit hole.
Well, the rabbit hole, but you see them. You saw my name, my picks for this, right? So, I think the first topic, the first topic I like to broach is remakes versus adaptations versus readaptations, right?
Yeah, right.
Because some of the things you picked are neither is actually an adaptation of the other, but they're both adaptations of something else. You know what I
Right.
mean? In some cases, they're like readaptations of the original, trying to make it more accurate or whatever, or go for something different. Like I don't know if it's on the list, but that bad Psycho readaptation, you know.
Yeah, that was
What they were trying to do, was pretty cool, was show Psycho from other points of view. You know what I mean? Than what we got,
right.
and that would be pretty nifty if they ever took like I don't know, think of a movie and just let's say we get 4 of the characters' points of view in that movie, but there's like 7 of them or whatever. Reshoot the entire movie from the other characters' point of view. You know what I mean? Like that could be pretty nifty, but anyway. What I'm getting at is it's a very sort of murky area, like adaptation versus remake versus readaptation versus knockoff.
It is.
You know,
Yeah. I mean, like the Magnificent Seven. I mean, it's from
the Seven Samurai.
Seven Samurai, but
And
it was a good remake. It was a good,
yeah. There's a whole list of like seven. I could probably, if I really dug my head in without even googling, come up with at least 3 or 4 more of them. Seven Samurai adaptations / remakes.
Right.
And but that was another thing we talked. I texted you about. They made a lot of Kurosawa's films as westerns. So just kept like Yojimbo became was it with the Clint Eastwood film Fistful of Dollars?
Was that it?
Yeah, the one that's not a spaghetti western, if I remember correctly. And on and on. They made them aside. Like technically, Star Wars is a Kurosawa adaptation, if you according to Lucas.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll load up our first one here. Let's see here. Open. So our first one is 3:10 to Yuma. And share screen. I'll show the 1957 one first. Share. So yeah, this one was directed by Delmer Daves, and it stars Ben Ford.
No, I remember that.
Ben Heflin,
and something to do with it. Was Elmore Leonard or the author? So technically, an adaptation of an Elmore Leonard book, right? Is that what we were just talking about? So this is a perfect example to give you like my movie, like why I rate movies the way I do, right? So if I like a movie but never plan on watching it again, it's a 2 out of 5, right? If I like a movie but might watch it again someday, it could be a 3. You know what I mean?
Right.
If I like a movie and want to see it again, that can get to a 4, right? You know what I mean? Like rewatchability to me, I don't mean like The Usual Suspect. You can technically only watch once and get the full experience, but it is enjoyable to watch again. You know what I mean? But
yeah,
That's not what I mean by rewatchability. I mean, rewatchability is you actually want to watch it again. You know what I mean? Even if it's a
Right.
full reveal of the story in the first time doing it, Um, and the first 310 to Yuma, I probably watched 2 or 3 times over the years. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
my grandpa and grandma when I was little, because when you're a little kid, you watch whatever you on TV, whoever's watching you, whatever, and you're playing with Legos. Um, and I remember maybe again in my teens or something like that. That's when I started to like westerns a little bit more. But aside from the Clint Eastwood ones and Shane as a kid, so that's all I liked those westerns.
Yeah.
Uh,
No, those are
yeah,
great.
yeah. Um, uh, and then maybe again in my 30s, I watched it and enjoyed it because I know that was around when the remake came out. And when a remake comes out, I tend to watch the original to do a mental comparison. You know what I mean? And I just don't remember the remake being, you know what I mean? Like, and the actors have a lot of charisma. You know what I mean? It was what's his face?
Yeah,
I know,
Christian Bale and
yeah. Oh yeah, a lot of charisma, but um, and even the cast was pretty good. I remember that, but it didn't like it didn't. It's the same thing with is True Grit on your list, or otherwise I won't talk
yeah,
about that. So I
yeah,
won't talk
that's
about
on
that
my
now.
list too.
So I'm trying to think. It's like when you it just. I'm like it was an okay remake. Like it was a two because I don't want to ever watch the remake again, but I want someday I'll probably watch the original again. You know what I mean?
Right.
And when they do that, like that's when if you're gonna do a remake, right? You better make it someone like that someone wants to watch like the original. You know what I mean? Um, and
Right.
that's my biggest problem with a couple of these films we're going to talk about. It's not that they're bad films, but the remakes. It's that I'm like, what did you do that makes it different enough that I want to rewatch it again? You know? So,
Right. And they changed it, but not like, I mean, they added a scene, like a 10-minute scene in it, and they switched some stuff around, but
but not
it's
not in a way
pretty
you really like. You remember we talked about Psycho, like the remake of Psycho that they tried that failed at, right? So maybe they'll try and
right.
do that with this, give you a different perspective on the movie. Um, but it didn't stick to me. Again, it was a quality film, and I enjoy Russell Crowe and Christian Bale in almost anything they do, even if I don't like the movie in general. I'll give them a watch. You know what I mean? But now, but like, like the original, I have nostalgia. Maybe because you get nostalgia with the original version sometimes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I don't know that I had nostalgia for this movie though. I think I just liked it when I remember when a teen saying, "Oh, I kind of liked that one," but thought westerns were stupid. But just and then when I was a kid,
Right.
and yeah,
And this one too, the father in it, in the old one, is the hero. He's the hero of the story. In the new one, they make it uh the bad guy the hero in the end of it.
well, that was a big thing. Like westerns from I want to say when did Unforgiven and Pale Rider come out? Was it early '90s?
I thought Pale Rider was 80 or 70s.
No, Pale Rider was wasn't it Clint Eastwood like late '80s and Unforgiven was early '90s, something like that.
Yeah, Unforgiven was 90, I think.
Look up Pale Rider. 1985. So I got the impression that from around that time on, your good guys in westerns were bad guys who are either bad guys who did good or bad guys who were reformed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like they were trying to subvert the trope. You know.
It seemed like there were more characters in this one too than there were in the old one.
I think that's the case. I think that was one of the things they were going for in the remake was to try to broaden the story from more perspectives, like you know what I mean, to give you something different. I just don't think
Yeah.
it impacted the way the original one, you know. And I'm not going to say like the original was a 5 out of 5. It's a okay movie that I enjoy and may want to watch again. You know what I mean? So,
Uh-huh.
it's but I just remember watching 2007. I guess this was. I'm looking at it now. So remake was 2007. Okay, so I was 2007. What was I then? Watched a lot of movies in 2007. 2007 was that the year? That might have been the year. Okay, I remember what it is now. Anyway, uh, I just I watched it. I was like, oh, this is okay, and then but the original is the one I'd want to watch again.
Yeah, me too. I mean, yeah, you're right. It's not a bad movie. It's just, I mean, it's kind of a carbon copy of the original.
I would have liked to see this cast in an original western.
Yeah, that would have been good. Yeah.
Because Russell Crowe was born to play Western characters. I don't care what. Did you ever watch The Man with the Iron Fist, uh, the kung fu film?
It's been a while, but yeah, I have.
I mean, it was a good overall movie. I don't know why critics panned it, but his character in that movie stole the show, and he played a Western character. Like I don't mean a character from the West. I mean a character should be in a Western. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. And from then on, I've always looked. Russell Crowe was born to play, those Western characters, and did he ever really play? Was he ever in another Western besides this one?
Not that I can think of.
Let's look up Mr. Crowe, Russell Crowe filmography. So, do you think they're going to try to? Well, I'm looking at. Do you think they're going to try to retcon him into or something to Gladiator 2?
I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know how.
Oh, he was in The Quick and the
could,
Dead. Okay.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. No, he didn't do. No, he didn't do any other westerns. Well, I mean, I can't tell about all the titles. I didn't watch everything he ever did, but
yeah, me either. Yeah, I wasn't a real fan of The Quick and the Dead, but he was one of the only characters I liked in it.
Yeah. It's funny thing about The Quick and the Dead. I like the characters. I hated the story.
Yeah.
Because I think the story was so bad. The actors just do, and they were all big name actors, so they just did whatever they wanted to do.
Yeah.
And let's see who directed that. It was Sam Raimi. So Sam Raimi was probably like, "This script sucks." So just act out the scene. He had
Yeah,
such
right.
A-list group of actors: Sharon Stone, Gene Hackman, Russell Crowe, uh, you know, Lance Henriksen, Leonardo DiCaprio, Gary Sinise.
Wait, Gary Sinise was in that?
Apparently, I'm looking at the list right now.
Huh.
Yeah. So I would say, I mean, I guess since the final opinion, I guess we could hit some others. I would say the original is superior, but the remake is not a bad film.
Right. That's what I would say too. And our next one, you ready to move on?
Yeah.
Next one is Conan the Barbarian, which this is an easy one. I mean, this is an easy one.
There's a caveat to this, but yes. So the original film is the greatest movie score of all time. That's number one. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Arnold was, even though Arnold is not big enough to play Conan, because the guy who plays Jack Reacher is not big enough to play Conan. Okay, you're not going to get. You have to get one of those like the Mountain is barely big enough to play Conan. Hafthor Jorgensen, the guy who played the Mountain. But Arnold was certainly charisma wise big enough to play Conan. You know what I mean? So they got the right actor for this. The setting looks good, even though the story is not quite true to the Robert E. Howard story. Great villain, James Earl Jones.
Yeah.
People remember him for Darth Vader. I will always remember him for this role. The first and foremost, this role.
Yeah.
You know, uh, and obviously this movie is a billion times better than the remake. However, the one caveat to that is the opening. There's really two movies in the remake: the part with young Conan, right, and the part with
Hmm.
grown-up Conan. That part with young Conan is the truest Sir Robert E. Howard depiction of Conan that's ever been in any format aside from his books.
Yeah.
So I've watched every year that opening sequence with young Conan in the remake. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
But I have it saved as I think I still have it saved as a separate movie. You know what I mean? Like I just cut it off because I don't care about the rest of it. You know,
Yeah.
but cause I read like right now I'm rereading Robbie Howard's Brand Mac Morn stuff. I'm in a little bit of Howard kick, so I'm reading some of his stuff. Um, and eventually I don't know if I have everything. I have all the Conan stuff like packed away. And I don't really unpack my books while I'm living in this place. But I'm living here another year at least. So I'm actually have to rebuy some Conan stuff to all my books. But because I love Conan, Robbie Howard's one of my 10 favorite authors. And
Yeah.
uh, I hope we get that one more Schwarzenegger Conan film that he wants to do, Conan the King, basically. That
Yes.
picture.
Like this picture. Yes.
Yeah. Because he's not aged properly for it. You know what I mean? So, uh,
Yeah.
and but the first film, if you rate it on a scale of 1 to 5, it's a 10. To me, it's even the flaws make it better. Uh,
Yeah.
the second one, I don't know. Jason Momoa has the physical presence to play a Conan, so I don't. But whoever, well, let me look. I'm gonna look this up. What moron directed that film? That's the first thing I'm gonna ask.
Yeah. Let's see.
Someone named Marcus Nispel. What is this?
Never heard
Who's
of his
known for
name.
doing remakes like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre and music videos, apparently. So the only movies this guy has ever done is the remake of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And is that the one with the only reason I ever watched that movie is Jessica Biel runs around in like your Daisy Dukes for the whole movie. So that's the only reason I ever watched that. Frankenstein, which is another remake. Well, this is Dean. No, this isn't a remake. This is based on Dean Koontz's Frankenstein. I read that book. Apparently, okay. So the Dean Koontz novels I've read. I've liked. So I've read about 7 or 8 of them. Um, you know, but this I remember watching this his remake of Frankenstein, so to speak, his adaptation / remake because it's technically
Yeah.
both. And thinking it sucked, right? So we're talking about this guy Misspell. So what's his next one? I'm going down to this Pathfinder.
Oh,
Is this really a role playing game movie?
yeah. That's what it seemed like.
Yeah, this thing. Did I even see this? I thought it sucked. It must have sucked. Carl Urban was in this. I know it sucked. I've watched almost everything Carl Urban's ever done, and I probably thought it sucked because I just. And then he did
Yeah. It did.
The Friday 13th remake, which horribly sucked. Horrible. Um, oh god, that was just a bad remake. The 2009 one. And what is Exeter film?
Yeah. So. Yeah.
That's the one I thought was okay. I think it was. I saw it under the. So I thought. I remember thinking that it was a horror film he did. So that's the last thing he ever did. Is he dead? No, he's not dead. So he. Uh, yeah. So and
Yeah. This.
who wrote this? Who wrote this travesty of the Conan remake? Who's this Thomas Dean Donnelly?
Yeah.
Oh,
And the
here's
characters were annoying. The
oh
the
god,
bad
yeah.
guys were annoying.
Yeah, listen to Thomas Dean Donald and Joshua Oppenheimer, the tag team duo who wrote this Conan adaptation. Here is their awesome. They're a movie called Thought Crimes. They did that 2005 Sahara movie. They did A Sound of Thunder, Dylan Dog, Dead
Yeah.
of Night, and of course Conan the Barbarian. The last thing they ever did. Maybe they died.
Now, in terms of actor, they're pretty much the same.
Momoa, he needs better. Like he picks projects that that are just bad projects, but he himself is not the problem in anything he's ever done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Obviously the guy who played Young Hulk, his name I'm looking up. His name is Leo Howard. What had he done? He's apparently a martial artist. Filmography. Wow. So this kid who played young Conan played young Snake Eyes in G.I. Joe: The Rise of Cobra. So that's something. Uh,
I don't know what they were trying to make with this movie.
uh,
I mean, ew.
it doesn't remind me of any actual Conan stories from Howard or from
No.
Jordan, Robert Jordan, or
Okay, there's the kid.
I mean, and the production values weren't. If you haven't gone back and rewatched the opening as a separate movie, the kid they should have just kept going with the kid. You know what I mean? Just
Yeah.
like Jason, stay home. You'll do the sequel. We're gonna do Young Conan with this kid for a while. You know, it's like
Yeah. I mean, it depends on where your production costs go to. You know, if they had better writers,
what you mean that
better
awesome
director.
duo was not good enough for you? It's like
No. And you get the bad guy off of Avatar.
yeah,
But yeah.
Kalarzim. His name. I think.
So this one is pretty much the first one was better, or much better.
Orders of magnitude better. Like you'd think these idiot writers would say, "Hey, Robert E. Howard wrote a whole bunch of Conan stuff. Let's go look and see if there's something we could turn to a script there." You know,
Yeah.
like if I were, I mean, his scripts lend themselves, I think, to simple action movies. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
his stories. Like, can you imagine if you had a good director doing Conan the Frost Giant's daughter? Have you read Howard and Conan? I don't know if you have or not, but like or Conan Red Nails or whatever. I mean, but he's so much stuff, you know. And I was so disappointed. I'm like Jason Momoa, he can play Conan, and you get this crap, and you know.
Yeah. Just did not work. Okay. Our
So
next
I would
one is
say,
another easy one.
Final say, original, vastly superior. Remake,
Yes.
watch the 15 minutes of
Definitely.
Young Conan and delete the rest of the film. It's like
Yeah. Let's see here. Our next one is
I'm very pensive, Jacob.
in Ghostbusters.
Oh God.
Another easy one. Another easy comparison here. So
It's a Ghostbusters versus Notbusters or Nutbusters, however you want to call it.
yes.
Ah, man, I don't.
Oh, look how cool that is.
Yeah, Ghostbusters is a classic movie. I argue people all the time. People, I think I contend Ghostbusters is not actually a comedy. It's like an adventure movie with comedic elements. And I say to them, if you took all the comedy out of Ghostbusters, it's still a good movie. You know what I mean? If it's basically like we're doing. It's like an episode of the X Files. If you think about it. You know what I'm saying? So, because they made a really good movie and then put comedy in it as a tool. You know, and This movie you could watch any decade and enjoy it, except for the people who can't overlook old special effects. Like you know
Yeah,
what I mean? I don't understand that,
which
but
in most cases, in my opinion, are better
I can
than
accept the time
some
period that
stuff.
something was done in
Yeah,
and say for not even say for its time it was good, saying this is what the quality of special effects at the time, and it doesn't take me out of it. You know what I mean?
right.
It's like if I go back and watch Doctor Who from the '60s or '70s, and the Daleks still look like pepper pots. You know, um,
Yeah,
and compared to say a Dalek from the '80s when they look really good comparison, I can still watch those '60s like and enjoy it. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah. And CLS, they even failed at trying to ruin the original.
Yeah.
Yeah, and all the little gadgets they made up too. The
Yep. And there's a cartoon sequel to this, which JMS did, Jan Michael Straczynski, who did Babylon 5. He was involved in a cartoon sequel called The Real Ghostbusters, which is also pretty good.
yeah,
Now, a lot of people are down on Ghostbusters 2. I thought it was an okay movie. And you know what I mean? I
yeah.
didn't think it was
It was
bad.
okay.
It's okay. I never want to watch it again, but the watching once, it's kind of okay. And of course, the she make, that's a new term. They're she makes, not remakes. You know, the she make in 2016, even if it wasn't a feminist propaganda piece, it still would have been a bad movie in my opinion.
Yeah, me too.
You know, because I
I
think they
agree.
do these intersectional remakes, she makes, or whatever you want to call it, depending on the type, and they don't under either they get really bad writers or think you don't have to have good writers or whatever, you know, and yeah,
I love this scene. No smoking, and they turn on the proton pack, and it's a
yeah,
nuclear a
yeah.
nuclear accelerator or something. But yeah, that this was a great movie. And then this travesty
And
of
then
a
the thing
movie.
to give, and that's another thing. Two of these women are legitimately funny as comedians. Leslie, what's her face, the tall black woman, and the one on the far right there.
This one,
Yeah, like I've seen them do some stand up, and they're kind of funny. I've seen them in skits that are funny. You know what I mean? So if you're gonna try to, and the other thing is, you know, they could have made this a proper sequel, and made them just all the Ghostbusters had daughters. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like there's a way you can do these movies, like that I don't know if you I talked about it on my Friday show. I don't know if you had time to listen to it or not. They're doing another Sherlock Holmes remake where it takes
another
place in
one.
a modern time, and it's about Dr. Watson from his perspective, but he's a black guy. And
Uh,
I'm like, I said, you know how you can make this work very easily? Make him that he's the great grandson of Dr. Watson. That's all you have to do, and then you
yeah,
can make it. You can,
that'd work.
you know, no, but they're not. They're saying they're redoing it for the modern audience, and that's what this travesty was. You know what I mean? Instead of saying, okay,
Yeah,
let's make them all the daughters of the original Ghostbusters. Let's do the same spirit as the original, and then they could have had a plot there, but it was also badly written. Most of the plot was about making men look stupid and not about actually doing ghost busting. You
yeah,
know, and it got showed up by Ghostbusters in Afterlife. That was the title, right? Afterlife,
yeah.
when which turned out to be a very good movie. Like it started okay, middle was slow, and ending was what made the film really good to me, right? And I remember when they put that out on Blu-ray, this is funny. I don't know if you know this or not. That these people protested that it wasn't included on the Ultimate Ghostbusters Collection Blu-ray. You remember? And so what they did was they gave you a promo code that you could download if you wanted it for as part of the package, and no one cared.
It's like, oh, I can remember they were selling it in like with the original too, and it's like sat on the shelf. Nobody wanted that third movie.
Yeah.
So yeah, this one is an
Watch the
easy one,
original. Yep.
easy easy one.
Yeah.
Original is better. Which I have to say, with most movies, the original is better.
Well, even when we're talking about 310 to Yuma, right? We both agree that the remake was a good movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It just
yeah,
didn't make you want to watch it again the way you want to watch the original for whatever reason. You know, like
yeah,
I said, I think I said it made me want to see that cast in an original western more than watch that movie again.
yeah. Our next one is God's. I just went for the American, I
I
guess,
suspect what's coming up. All right.
redo, and then Godzilla, the 2014 one. But yeah, but it would be hard to compare the. I haven't seen the new Godzilla -1 yet, so I didn't want to
GMO, GMO,
do
GMO is
that yet.
amazing.
So yeah,
I've
then there's
watched it
this
4 times
Oh
already.
my
GMO.
goodness.
Um,
Really?
yeah. So this is Gino, Godzilla in name only. Right.
Yes.
Though
Zilla.
it did give us a very good Godzilla cartoon, I will admit. The animation that spun off of this. But this is not Godzilla. Okay. Um,
No,
Godzilla, Godzilla does not run away from fight. Number one.
no,
Number two, they don't understand that Godzilla has to make the skyscrapers look like paper. Like that's the reason for people who don't understand this. The reason Godzilla keeps getting bigger and bigger in sequels is because he scales. They have to scale up the size of the buildings and environment he's in. Okay,
right.
that's why they made Legendary Godzilla so big. He's actually the biggest Godzilla that's in a live action movie. Um, Kaput, and that's before they made him even bigger in 2019. You know,
Yeah,
because he keeps growing as he absorbs radiation, right? Um,
right.
so they they had to make it so that he doesn't look like dwarf compared to the buildings, you know,
Yeah,
like the original Godzilla in Godzilla of 1954, or and actually as far as remakes go, we can broaden this. So Gojira came out in 1954. Godzilla King of the Monsters, the first, came out in 56. That's technically a remake on its own, right? And that's
right.
a case where both are good movies and they're different movies. You know what I mean? They did something different. Like the first one, for those who've never seen the original Gojira, there's a whole bunch of scenes in there, like that. Some of the best scenes where the Japanese people are debating what to do about Godzilla. There's the Japanese Parliament and all that involved. There's a lot of stuff going on, and those aren't
Yeah,
really in the American one because um, they couldn't voice act everyone. So that's why they had Raymond Burr doing the voiceovers and whatever to give you the part of the plot they couldn't get voice actors to cover or they cut out or whatever.
yeah,
So they
right.
did. They respectfully adapted the movie and made a different movie that's not quite as good as the original, but close enough, right? And then we get this piece of garbage from the '90s,
Yeah,
and I'm surprised because this directing team did a couple of good movies before this. They did Independence Day, they did Stargate, and they did something else. Independence Day, Stargate. Now I gotta look it up. Stargate. I'll start with. I'll start
I
with
mean
Independence.
the CGI is dated. I mean it's not.
Well, it was bad to begin with. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
and the I would say looking at like concept art of the Godzilla, it's not a bad looking creature, but once they CGI'd it looked
So okay, so
terrible.
no, I don't know. I call up Dean Devlin. So before we get to, so I'll give you. I took my little brother to see this movie because he was like, I think this is '98. So he would have been 8 years old or whatever.
Hmm.
And I got into Godzilla. He's a big Godzilla, not quite as I am, but I remember in the movie, we went in the movie and halfway through it, he's a little kid. He goes, Matt, this sucks. This isn't Godzilla. He told me this isn't Godzilla. And there are a couple. And the only reason to watch this movie, I'll give people. So if you do want to watch it, right? Um, John Reno is amazing in every role he plays. So if you have still of him, well, she's hot looking,
Yeah.
so that gets another reason. But You know,
Yeah.
I'm always pro fan service. So John Reno is like every movie he's ever done is amazing, right? Not that the movie's amazing, he's amazing. You know what I mean? And I will say, when Godzilla bursts out of the ground, this scene is kind of cool. I admit. I've seen it in Japanese movies. This way, what comes out of the water, the first appearance, but then when you see him, he looks stupid. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
but this part here, because I think they just stole this from other Japanese movies. We've seen this before, and I like the short scene where he bursts up, where she bursts up out of the ground in the New York Arena. Oh my God, Madison Square Garden, and finds all her dead babies and is upset. That short scene was kind of okay. You know what I mean? Like they portray,
Yeah.
but so even in bad movies, you'll get some good scenes here or there. But again, Godzilla should be standing next to the bridge.
Yeah.
Matter of fact,
Right.
hold right there. And we'll do a live. And I know you might not have the scene ready, but I will have it ready for you, Jacob. It's how my brain, how
Okay.
awesome it is. Godzilla. You have 2014 as our comparison, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me get there. It's not quite there yet. I'll mute it so you don't get copyright struck.
Here, I'll show this real quick. Like this is from the 2014 movie.
Well, that's you got the rise out of the ocean, yeah. So but that's not the scene I want to compare to. I want to show you. Where is it? That's the one flaw of 2014. And I guess why they had limited budget. They didn't know what they were doing, and this should have been more monster fighting. That's always my complaint about these movies. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah. Too much people, too many storylines with the people. Just too many relationships, shoved into it.
Okay.
I mean, it's not just one.
Okay,
It's
let me
multiple.
share VLC. Present.
It's too much.
Share screen. Go. Here you go. So I got it muted, and I'll pause playing up. But this is the scene. Keep in mind the scene you just watched of Godzilla standing on the bridge.
Yeah.
Now this we did so I pause as well. I'll pause. I'll talk so we don't get copyright struck. I had a debate about this scene online. I used to debate for it. And people said that the water is too deep to stand in on the San Francisco Bridge. So, right, but it's not because the Golden Gate Bridge. So Godzilla is about 200 meters tall, if I remember correctly, 120, whatever the number is, right? 117.
Mm-hmm.
He's 117 meters tall, right? In this movie, and there's shelves extending out over the deep part of the bay that are a certain height. I think they're about 60 meters deep, right under the water.
Mm-hmm.
The people who did this CGI scene knew the physics involved, knew the sizes, and knew the geography. They did the research, and like Godzilla is standing in a part of the bay where he would have to have been standing if he really existed to show up the way he's about to show up. I'm gonna play it.
Yeah.
So this is what you saw the show. So now these boats here, okay, they're at least, I want to say 40 to 50 meters long.
Right.
Okay. Like if we had that scene on the dock before, right? Okay, it's a size comparison, right?
Mm-hmm.
So these guys look a little bigger, right? But the perspective with the depth you're seeing here, this Godzilla is 3 or 4 times wider than the one coming in, right?
Yeah.
That's his tail, by the way. What you saw in the other scene was the Godzilla's body. This is just Godzilla's tail.
Yeah.
And he's deliberately trying not to hurt the humans.
Yeah, he's intelligent.
Yep. That's just his tail. Just his tail.
The 98 one, it was an animal. It wasn't, intelligent.
Yeah, wasn't intelligent. Well, there are versions of Godzilla that are big animals too. Like
Oh, look at that.
that's just his tail doing that.
Yeah.
He's like, get out of the way, little human, get out of the way. What he's doing now is he's going to the shelf. Now you can see a little more of his back. The shelf he's going to where he can actually stand up because he's still floating in the water.
Yeah. And I would just,
Let's see if
if
I
I
can bump a
owned
little
the
of this
movie,
up.
if I owned a copy of it, I would cut out all the people and just watch the monster
Now look at this.
fighting. Yeah, look at
The
that.
other
Just his hand.
Godzilla would be standing next to him on the bridge.
Yeah, he could pick that Godzilla up with his.
Yeah, but think of this: Godzilla is supposed to make mankind's achievements look not so much achievements. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, so Godzilla standing on a bridge in Geno 1998 is a joke compared to Godzilla. I can find scenes like this in every Godzilla film, like in Godzilla 1984 or Return of Godzilla, depending on what you call it, where he shoulder shrugs a skyscraper over to crush a plane.
yeah,
I mean, or in Godzilla, the scariest scene any Godzilla film, okay, is in Godzilla Mothra King Ghidorah, which is in 2004 or whatever. There's a woman in a full body cast in a hospital bed, and they forgot to evacuate her, right? Godzilla's walking towards the building, right? And all of a sudden he walks past and he thinks she made it. She breathes a sigh of relief. And all of a sudden Godzilla's tail starts come in and just wipe her out specifically. It's like, he crushes a building effortlessly, whereas other Godzilla was running away, digging through the ground like he's a gopher or whatever.
Yeah, it was not good. Not good.
He deliberately stops so he doesn't kill all the people on the bridge. People, and then I think there's one with the scene you'll see right after this. So look at that. Imagine Geno. Remember when Geno hit with the missiles on the bridge? Remember that?
Yeah.
Compare that scene. And I think there's one full-size perspective compared to the bridge that's coming up. You kind of see it right after this, I think. Yeah, if he protects the humans from the missiles. Now. Yeah. See if I can bump forward. I don't want to show one little scene. I think, okay. Well, people got the point. We don't need to belabor it.
Yeah.
The point is, you look at Godzilla 1990. Look. Oh my God! Every time I want to laugh. Like other Godzilla will be standing next to that bridge with his hand on
Yeah. I don't know. It's just weird. It didn't work at all. I don't know what they were thinking. It looked like a video game to me.
A bad one. Oh, well, maybe
90s,
we're expecting Turok the Dinosaur to come out with a gun and shoot this Godzilla.
And then it being a female
he's dodging buildings instead of walking through them.
It's like, what's this? Get out of the way. It should just almost not even register. Oh, well, I'm walking through a building here. Just, you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's such an atrociously. I'm looking at, and I have Dean Devlin's thing up here. Okay, so Devlin Devlin with Roland Emmerich. No, not with Roland Emmerich. Before Roland Emmerich, they did that 1992 Universal Soldier movie with Van Damme, which I thought was okay, right? Then with Emmerich, he does Stargate, Independence Day. Then they do this atrocious Godzilla film, right?
Yeah.
Then he goes back and does a good movie, to me at least, The Patriot. Eight-Legged Freaks was a good movie. It was a comedy. Mm-hmm. Cellular was okay, and after that, his career just declined to pure garbage, right? But
yeah,
man, it just pisses me off. Sorry for Jacob. No, try not to. It's such frustrating that it's.
Yeah, it is. It is. Not look at that. I mean, that's
man. That's insane. Like insanely beautiful, but
But it doesn't. The old one. I mean, it showed a Godzilla next to a helicopter in the old one, and the size changes for Godzilla. It changes.
Well, that's what I was talking about. With the director, with the team, with the CGI and the director knew what they're talking about when they animated Godzilla coming out of the water by the Golden Gate Bridge, right? The
Right.
people doing that film could care less about the actual physics or geology involved with the scene they were doing. They were just reading the script and making and cut and pasting something on screen.
Yeah. Just
And look, this is a case where Godzilla avoids damaging the buildings on purpose. You know?
mm-hmm.
Now this scene, okay, this is right before Castle Bravo, right? So uh, I'm about to veer for a moment into my Monarch reviews, Jacob. I'm sorry, but
That's
I have
okay.
to mention it.
That's okay.
So, for those who don't know, in Godzilla 2014, they established every U.S. nuclear test in the South Pacific was an attempt to kill him because they didn't know they were feeding him, right? This was the
Right.
Castle Bravo explosion. Now, what does Castle Bravo mean? Well, the series of tests at Bikini Atoll was called the Castle Test, right? That's the name of the program. And Bikini Atoll is a series of small islands in a circle, right? Um, and
Yeah.
this was Castle Bravo, the first one. Castle Bravo was supposed to be a 6 megaton nuclear explosion, but they miscalculated. It wound up being a 15 megaton, right? Now, Godzilla is floating in the water here, okay? He's not on the ground, he's swimming. That he's on ground zero of the explosion. The overpressure wave doesn't even cause him to move in the water. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Right? And he's in the fireball and it doesn't even singe him. Right? So, yet Godzilla 1998 was killed by machine gun fire and missiles.
Yeah.
Okay?
That's another complaint I have with these newer Godzilla movies. They're shooting at him with their rifles. It's like throwing sand at sand grain at people. I mean, it's not. It doesn't. He doesn't even phase him.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird. But.
Well, I mean, I get that they're like in 2014 when Ford pulls out his handgun and unloads on the Muto. He's like, I'm going down shooting. I get that, you know.
Yeah.
Even though I think there were too many human characters. Like we both agree, there are just too many humans in these films, you know.
Yeah, definitely.
But and oh, by the way, Monarch Red Rave, they basically forget that. Okay, so this is Castle Bravo, the first of 6 or 7 explosions in Bikini Atoll alone. That went from like maybe I want to say May through August or whatever. It's in the summer. And they didn't stop. Whereas now in the Monarch TV show, they never did the research to know that there were more explosions, and right after this, more tests. So they said Godzilla disappears for 2 years.
Yeah, weird. I mean, you if you take at least the first few MCU movies, I mean they plan that out for years. I mean, years into the future. They're not doing this with these movies. I mean, they're just like make this one and make this and making it up as they go along.
Well, are we talking the 2014? The guy, what I call legendary.
Yeah, the 2014 one and after.
Legendary.
Yeah,
I think they wanted to make a Godzilla film, and they had the guy who made it. What's his name? Legendary. I never remember his name. I'll get it. Gareth Edwards, who's a good director. He's done a couple things. He did Rogue One. He's only done 4 or 5 movies. Monsters was okay. That was a 2010 movie. Godzilla 2014 and Rogue One. I enjoyed both of those a lot. You know, I did The Creator I think recently, and I heard that sucked. But not everything's gonna be great. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So 2014 they the way they had a license to use Godzilla, Mothra, Rodan, King Ghidorah, and Mechagodzilla over a 5-movie deal, right?
Yeah.
So, and they had no other Toho license. They had to make up every other monster because Toho was saying, okay, you'll give us money, we'll do it, but because they know it would promote Godzilla if it were decent movies, right? And I don't think I don't think they expected to have that to be a market for a sequel. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So all of a sudden they get a they're like, hey, this movie made 500 million or whatever it did, despite its flaws with too many human characters and killing Bryan Cranston off and all that. Um, and they're like, okay, what can we do? We'd have to make a universe now and everything, right? So they come with Kong Skull Island, which is good. Um, 2019, which I like the monster fights. I like Kyle Chandler's role in the movie, right? But
Hmm.
why we didn't need both, Charles Drance, Tywin Lannister, and Jansen. We didn't need both of those in that film. You know what I mean? We need one villain, not two, right?
Yeah,
And we needed more kaiju fighting. You know what I mean? Like another big fight.
definitely.
But the fights were all good. I enjoyed all the kaiju fights. I loved how humanity finally understood that they should be helping Godzilla at the end. That was pretty cool. I love Godzilla's nuclear pulse attack. That was awesome. I always love Godzilla's nuclear pulse attack.
Yeah.
Um, you know, um, but but that's when I think that's when they came up with their sort of plan for the storyline going forward. After that, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
When they say, okay, let's go with the Hollow Earth. Let's go all in on some mythology with because I think what they're doing, and this is some like real world like stuff as well as some what ancient alien
I
stuff.
mean, and
But do you remember the whole? You know what the Younger Dryas event is?
huh,
11,000 years ago, the ice age ended abruptly. Göbekli Tepe, the Turkish city, it seems to be still is all of a sudden seems to come out of nowhere 11,000 years ago, type of thing. Um,
uh-huh.
so if we watch the underlying story to Legendary, there appear to be ancient civilizations that these kaiju were aligned with, right? Like
Yeah.
Godzilla's was that underground place he went to recharge. Kong's people were in the Hollow Earth and all that. So I'm going to bet that we're going to have, and the rumors are that Godzilla is going to fight a monster who is an antithesis who starts ice ages.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm going to bet that
It,
they're going to
and
try to
they
get.
have
Oh, sorry.
Bryan Cranston, and they wasted. I mean, he dies in the first what?
He dies at the end of I would say what the second or third act.
Yeah.
Um, and I don't know. I mean, I get what they were trying to do, but his son became a background character. You know what I mean? Like they were trying to
Hmm.
pass his mantle on to his son into Sarazawa, right? The mantle of the wrong
Right.
guys, But they didn't really do it because he get cool. He got the information needed that eventually leads, by the way, to the device they use to control and communicate with kaiju in 2019. The Orca. That
Yeah.
signal
Uh-huh.
that's involved in his work. But I would have liked to see him if he's going to die in the movie, make it to way later in the film.
Yeah. Definitely. Okay. So the original versus the 98 one versus 2014. 2014 wins.
Yeah.
Okay, now our next one is Planet of the Apes.
Oh God, I love the original Planet of the Apes movies.
Yeah, me too. Now I went with the one that they tried to reboot, uh, Planet of the Apes, the 2001 Mark
Uh,
Wahlberg.
that one sucked, and so did the more
Yes,
recent
it did.
ones. The recent ones sucked.
The only thing that was impressive with that movie was the costumes of the apes. I thought they did a pretty good job with that.
Yeah. That's one of my bigger problems with the recent. They're not even. It's not even a reboot. It's more films that's supposed to be in the same series or whatever, right?
Hmm.
Uh, I don't like the ape costumes at all.
No,
You know? But
and it's all CG, isn't it?
there's a lot of CG, there's a lot of animatronic crap in there, which I'm not opposed to CG or animatronics, but there's a visual aesthetic of these apes. You know what I mean? That,
Hmm.
that I think they needed to keep, which I think Tim Burton kind of got right a little bit in his movie, right? But
Yeah,
and of course we got plenty of fan service. It's not that Tim Burton, all right, we got the fan service. Um, but what was I going to say? I think like Okay, so the original Planet of the Apes storyline is complete. For those who've never watched all 6 films in the TV show, it's a complete story. Okay,
Right.
um, and the one in 2001, yeah, fine, they didn't make any sequels or whatever. But the way they did it with some weird alternate dimensional time travel was stupid. How could you even complete that? You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
Like there's one example of time travel here in this movie series, which breaks the
And
original
it's
cycle that kills them all, and eventually leads to the apes and humanity coming together in peace. You know?
yeah. Now it was there time travel? I thought they were in like they were in cryo sleep.
No, no. The remember at the end, the apes, Cornelius and Vera go back in time. Yeah. Remember?
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and their baby becomes Caesar.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and because he has the knowledge of the future, he avoids all the mistakes he made that his prior self made. Right. And
Right.
he's able to get humanity and apes to a point because the plague still happens. It's not that and humanity gets wiped out, but they don't become like dumb like they were and lose their intelligence, right?
Uh-huh.
Um, the nuclear war is more limited and all that, and eventually apes and humans come to peaceful terms and they live together in a society peacefully, but with the final vestige of the violence being purged at the end of the last movie. You know.
Yeah.
In other words, what they're saying is apes follow the same destructive path as man originally, right?
Yeah.
And then
Uh-huh.
when they're back in time, Cornelius and Vera had the knowledge of what happened, so that apes and man could turn away from the destructive path and come together and make a better future. That was that's why I love the message to all 6, and the TV show was pretty good. So even the cartoon was pretty good, to be honest. They had a cartoon for this as well.
Yeah, not all of the ape outfits in the 2001 were good. I mean, this one wasn't that great.
But they were still in the style of the original. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, they were.
That was my like point. Like Tim Burton understood you had if you're doing this type of remake, you still have to sort of look like where you came from. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because they're not like for example, I don't know, is Dune on the list?
No, huh?
Okay, so I can comment about it. So
Yeah,
Dune, all versions of it are adaptations of Frank Herbert's book, right? You know what I mean?
right.
So they can be very different. This 2001 is a remake of the movie. You know what I mean? It's taking
Hmm.
that original story. So the original source material are these 6 older movies, plus the TV show and whatnot.
Right.
And so when you do that, you either have to do something crazy different, or you have to be close enough to it to say this is just a different styling of it. You know what I mean? It's like you can't.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah. And look at that. Oh wow. This looks better. I like it better than the CGI.
Oh yeah.
And they're not wearing any clothes in
Yeah.
the new ones. You know,
Because
they're just
yeah, because Burton understood the apes have to look kind of like the original apes. You know.
right. Yeah. The the show the movie itself was really corny and not very well. I mean, it's Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah. I'm not as down on Marky Mark as a movie. He does some.
No, it depends on what the movie is.
Yeah, like he can't carry the movie, but the movie is good. He's okay. You know.
Yeah.
I always call him Marky Mark because of the rapper thing. You know.
Yeah. Right. So I'll give it to this one for the costumes. They did I thought they did a pretty good
Yeah.
job
The,
on
the
that.
production values. Yeah. You know what I mean. The production values. I were top. Tim Burton doesn't skimp money on the production. You know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like Wahlberg was great in The Martian. You know, was
Mhm.
it him? Was it Wahlberg? Yeah, right.
No, that was
No, that was
Matt Damon.
yeah, Matt Damon. Yeah.
So yeah, still the original wins. I think just because of
Yep. Oh, far and away.
acting and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are
So
no
yeah. So
actors
there's that.
in the remake in that. Well, the guy who played what was his name? I gotta look it up. Cast Tim Roth.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he was good. You know, Michael Clark Duncan obviously was always great in those physical roles. But Tim Roth, and there were again the actor. I'll go down the list. Mark Wahlberg, Tim Roth is especially villain actor. You know, Helena Bonham Carter is an okay actor. Michael Clark Duncan, okay actor. Chris Christopherson was in there. You know, Paul Giamatti was in there.
Yeah.
Kerry Takagawa was in there. For who know Kerry Takagawa in Shang Tsung from the Mortal Kombat movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love him in every role he ever plays. By the way, he's like, I love that guy.
Yeah. So our next one is RoboCop.
Oh God,
Uh
it was so bad it didn't want to come on screen.
oh.
Well, CLS.
The first one was good.
Let me answer CLS's thing there. Technically, I mean, you don't. If you haven't watched, I would recommend watching the part one before you watch. If you're going to interest in part two, for sure. You know.
Yeah. Definitely. So yeah, the first RoboCop.
So you go first. I have a controversial take on this.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, I like the original.
So
what's your
I
thoughts on
like
that?
the original a lot, but I think the original is a really good bad movie. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
that's
Like
what yeah.
they were making obviously the satirical elements and like I think the story elements are so strong that it carried the movie more so than they ever planned to carry it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, like the movie had I want to put a lot of social commentary and a lot of Basil Polidaris, by the way, is the guy who did the music for this. He did the Conan and the Barbarian score. Uh,
Oh, okay.
yeah, he's done a lot of great music, Polidaris. Anyway,
So this
like if you watch a lot of Japanese science fiction films, this looks like one of them. You know what I mean?
yeah, it does. Yeah. Yeah.
But for they lucked into a sort of movie with stronger messages and stronger acting and like I'm trying to the best way to describe it. You know what I mean? Like they didn't go into just knowing they were making the Godfather of science fiction. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, but they wound up with a lot better movie than they thought they were going to get. Conversely, with the remake, they went into it trying to make the Godfather of science fiction, and it was atrocious, just atrocious.
Yeah. Yeah. It took itself too seriously.
Yeah. Like that guy, the guy who plays Dick. He's such a great stern-faced villain. He was also the guy in Total Recall. Remember?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. What's his name? I don't know.
It's right there. Ronnie Cox.
Ronnie Cox. Yeah. Ronnie. Is he dead?
I don't think so.
He's alive. Total Recall. Vilos Cohagen. Cohagen. I'm coming, Cohagen. You know. He was in the 1990 Captain America film. I forgot about that. Yeah.
Oh, I've never seen that one.
It's honestly not a bad movie. Not a great movie, not a bad movie. Do you ever watch Stargate? It's the TV show.
Yes. Uh-huh.
He was Kinsey in Stargate, and remember that two-parter with Picard gets tortured. He was Captain Jellicoe. So he's
that's
had
who
a good,
that was.
He's had a good career all over the place. I'm just now grabbing his filmography to see. Oh my god, I forgot about this. He's in one of my all-time favorite horror films, Jacob. He's in The Car, a 1977 horror
The
film.
Car?
Have you ever seen The Car?
No, I haven't.
I will share the film to you after this, George, so you can get it. It's one of my 10 favorite horror films of all time. You know? And it's not, and it sounds like I'm laughing, but I'm not. It's a serious horror film, right? It's
Yeah.
it's basically about a possessed car and a small town trying to deal with it. Okay, but it sounds hokey, but you watch it and it's like an H.P. Love. It's almost like an H.P. Lovecraft story made film. You know,
Yeah.
but
And with this one, we have our Cylon RoboCop.
and I don't understand. Like they were making the point of RoboCop was they were making something to be work with civilian populations and whatever in the original, and you know I don't know. I mean, the whole military like I get what they were trying to do in a sense because there were elements of that in the original, the military contracting and all that. But if you remember correctly,
Yeah.
the RoboCop program was deliberately made to be a police officer, not a military aspect. And Dick was trying
Right.
to use his military programs into like by showing them off of like putting the Ed 209s in police function. Excuse me.
Right.
Yeah.
I can remember thinking the suit's not bad, and then they painted it black.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah.
Yeah, it just did not work. Like superhero movies. I mean, you can make it serious. I mean, we saw what Daredevil and the
Oh, I don't get
Punisher.
Superman the movie is a serious movie. It's
Oh yeah,
lighthearted but
yeah,
serious. There's no reason you can't do a serious movie like you were saying, but you don't do this. Like
no,
even the action scenes come across as like uh, I don't know how to describe it. Like I just don't have a problem. I got the impression that I got the impression that Murphy was trying to hold on to his humanity in the first movie. Like this Murphy was just really was dead, and it was just a computer program going through the motions.
yeah, right. Yeah, it didn't work.
RoboCop 2 is a better movie than this movie.
Yeah,
RoboCop 3 is a better movie than this movie. The Japanese RoboCop TV movies are all better than this movie. That's how
yeah,
far down the list this is.
yeah. That good, so good. Okay, so yeah, original better is better. This is for me. This is another easy one. Give me a second.
Oh God. So my problem with the turtles is I read the comic book a couple issues first before they
Yeah,
became kitty characters. So now I get the whole generation after with the kitty characters, though that's the real turtles phenomenon, right? You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
people who read the black and white comic where they were murder fest for a couple of years. Not that I read a lot of them, but I didn't think it was that interesting. I thought, oh, this is a cool issue. I don't want to buy it again, type of thing. I wish I bought more because it'd be worth like thousands of dollars. But um, but I thought it was a good, well-made movie. It captured the kitty cartoon, kitty toy
yeah.
version very well. It's rewatchable. I think I watched it once since then, maybe twice with. I definitely once with my little brother. He wanted to watch it with me when he was a kid. Critters.
The critters.
Yeah. That was a better movie than the RoboCop remake.
Yes, it was. Yeah,
The
I
remake.
like this. They did a good job
Yeah.
with the suits and everything.
Mhm.
I could see they could have made it could have gone like a little darker.
Yeah, the
That's just
remake
me.
is just not memorable at all.
Yeah. I mean, what makes the turtles is their personalities.
Yeah.
They have a certain personality, and they just made them.
Is he giving the finger on the camera? Look at that.
Sure
Did he do
looks
that
like.
knowingly?
I don't know. Maybe.
Because why do people randomly hold their middle finger right at the camera? Because he must have heard they were doing the RoboCop remake. Oh.
Yeah, I thought the costumes were really good. The turtles.
Yeah. Heroes in a half shell. Little power.
And then we get the I don't know, giant roided out turtles.
Oh God. Were they even people or were they just CGI?
They were CGI.
The CGI in the 2011 thing was better than CGI in this movie.
Yes.
I don't get when they do these things. Like, it was just bad. It was a bad movie. Bad CGI. Bad everything.
Yeah. Oh, and look at that. Oh. That looks like the rodents of unusual size on The Princess Bride.
It looks like a leftover Muppet.
Yeah, it does.
Why?
So yeah,
And look in the background. The turtles are scowling. Even when they don't scowl, they should be like, you know.
yeah. They made him more like Batman.
Yeah. Bat Turtle. Bat Raphael. Bat Michelangelo. Bat Leonardo.
And the Shredder. Oh, little went a little overboard with that.
A little too much shreddability.
Looks like a transformer.
It looks like some sort of like something out of Hostel or Saw.
Yeah. Who directed this?
Now I will say,
Jonathan Liebsman.
yeah,
Never heard of him.
nope. Come on.
So yeah. So yeah, this was the better. This was the original. The better.
Far and away.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I'll
Was there
gotta read the comments.
another remake? I just
Uh
I'm just
it were
Googling for this.
it was a cartoon
Oh,
remake.
Alan Richardson was in there, apparently, as a voice actor or whatever. If they actually put him in a turtle suit, he would look better than the CGI.
Yeah.
So Jonathan Liebsman. Let's see what else this guy has done. Filmography.
Yeah. Battle Los Angeles.
Oh my God, he did a movie I love, Darkness Falls.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I thought Battle Los Angeles was okay, but Darkness Falls is a great horror movie. I'm surprised if he could do that and then come up with this piece of crap.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's worked on 4 other Hello TV show episodes, so
Yeah, right.
clearly he's gone downhill since Battle of Los Angeles.
Transformers is better than Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle remake.
He got nominated for a Golden Raspberry for this movie, the remake.
Okay, so moving on to the next one. Here we go. Yes. The Magnificent Seven.
I think this is gonna be the same thing as the first movie. The original is great. Seven Samurai was great. This is great. Um, the remake of it. Were there two American remakes of this? I know there's a TV show
I
as
don't,
well.
there were like 3 or 4 movies after this one.
Yeah, they did the Magnificent Return. The Magnificent,
The Guns of the Magnificent Seven.
Sequels. What's it more like? The Guns of the Magnificent Six? Like
yeah, look.
other reception. Is there a franchise?
Yeah, I didn't like the remake.
Nah, not at all.
I mean, it was the time where all this woke stuff was starting to come in.
Okay, so
yeah, 2016. It was 2016. Came out in 2016.
Return of the Seven, Guns of the Magnificent Seven, and the Magnificent Seven Ride. Those were the sequels to this.
Yeah.
Yul Brynner was in Return of the Seven, but George Kennedy and Lee Van Cleef were after that. Yul Brynner was the only cast member to return to for any of the sequels.
Yeah.
Magnificent TV show was in the 1980 to 99. Robert Vaughn, I always love Robert Vaughn. I remember the TV show. I remember thinking the TV show was okay.
Never saw this TV show.
It was a syndicated thing,
Okay. Yeah, the new one, the 2016 one. All the white guys die.
Yeah. It was the new one was stupid. I mean, I kind of I do it when I get a movie like that. I'll make it about 15 minutes in, and if I could stomach it, I'll put VLC I'll switch over to VLC from my Plex player, right, and put it on like 3 times watch speed. It's like because when you know it's bad, you know what I mean.
The thing I remember from this one is Ethan Hawke screaming like a crazy person.
Yeah,
that's. I mean, there's nothing memorable about this movie.
The cast isn't bad. I mean, I'm not gonna say
no.
Denzel, Chris Pratt, Ethan Hawke, Vincent D'Onofrio, Lee Byung-hun. Those and one of the Sergeant guards are in there, so I remember that.
Denzel Washington. He looks good in a cowboy hat.
I think they had a decent cast. I'm not sure what Anton Fuqua is the director. I know he's done some stuff I liked and some stuff I hated. You know what I mean? He did Tears of the Sun. I enjoyed that a lot. I liked Training Day. I liked The Replacement Killers. I liked Olympus Has Fallen. The Equalizer films. If they weren't called The Equalizer, I would enjoy them, but because they're not to me a proper homage of the original Equalizer show.
Yeah.
But the movie themselves were good. But I don't know what went wrong with this movie. I mean,
no. The bad guys in it too. They weren't Mexican bandits. They were white.
Of course,
guys.
Yeah. I mean, technically, most Mexicans are white people. By the way, it's like
yeah.
Or they call it the Latinos, the conveniently white people. It's like yeah. This was like a woke, like a film that died to wokeness. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They didn't want to go full woke, but they didn't. It's like caught in the middle.
Well, when they did it was like the full woke was just gearing up,
Yeah, and it was weird. They had this Indian guy that was shooting bow and arrows. They had the Asian guy that just threw knives at people.
Mm-hmm. Someone must have said, "Hey, wait, isn't this based on the Seven Samurai? Let's have an Asian guy who throws knives."
Yeah. Yeah, so I did not enjoy this movie at all.
So that means they would have to have that Asian character within 21 feet of people at all times in order to be effective.
Right. Yeah. Right.
And contrary to popular trope, American Indians, as soon as they had access to guns, chucked their bows out the window.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
even
So
visually, yeah. That's what I said. Even the new film, like I always wonder when I watched it, like aside from the woke stuff, was it just the woke that killed it? You know what I mean? But anyway, the cinematography is great.
I think it was probably poorly written.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
it looked good, but that's you gotta have more than it looking good. You gotta have
Actually, you want to know how I just noticed this? 'Cause I never knew this. I'm reading through now on Wikipedia for the new one. So that Indian guy is a Comanche. Now,
yeah.
the history of the Comanches, they're the most bloodthirsty, evil American Indian tribes you can get. Other American Indians wanted to extinct them.
Yeah.
So they didn't even choose like an Apache or like a Hopi or an Indian tribe who wanted. Generally speaking, one of the more positive ones.
Yeah.
They picked the Comanches, who everyone among American Indians hated.
Yeah. And they give him a mohawk too. So
Yeah.
I didn't think Comanches had mohawks.
Well, they must have heard. They must think how the intersectionalists think. Mohicans, Mohawk and Mohican Indians. So all Indians must have Mohawks now.
Yeah. Right.
Charles Brown, think of the legendary Charles Browns.
I mean, that's even a different tribe too. The Mohicans and the Mohawk tribe.
Yep, yeah.
I mean, this is the guy with the knives in the original. I mean, he used a knife, but that wasn't his main weapon.
No. Yeah.
So yeah, that's.
And by the way, I mentioned Robert Vaughn being in the TV show. He was one of the 7 in the movie.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You know who Robert Vaughn is when you see him.
Yeah, was the knife guy Robert Ford?
No.
No, that's James.
He plays a character named Lee. I'll give you my Steve McQueen story. That's Chuck Charles Bronson. I'll give you my Steve McQueen story. Did they have a picture of Robert Vaughn in the movie?
I don't know.
Go back one.
See, is that him there?
No, go back one.
More.
John Stevens in the background. Let me grab my copy and see if I can get a picture of him.
Well, now the Three Amigos is a comedic version. I don't think I've shown him at all. There he is.
Yeah, there he is. All right.
Yeah, the man from Uncle.
Now I want to rewatch this, but I can't because I have to watch The Light Horseman and rewatch Lawrence of Arabia. Plus, I still have to watch Monarch so I can make my unfortunately do that.
Oh.
I finally got all my sharps digitized. That I just spent most of the last 2 days. I got my Blu-rays for if you didn't see my stream on Friday, I unboxed these. They came a week early. These are
Cool.
Blu-rays for Sharp.
For Sharp?
And,
okay.
Yep. And I have all of it in high def now. So when I watch the 3rd episode, it'll be in glorious high def with great sound.
Ooh, cool.
Yeah. But
I need to watch that. I have it. I have it on the list. I need to watch that. And our next one is again. This is
before we go to the next one. Battle Beyond the Stars is it's an okay movie. It's better than the remake of Magnificent Seven. There we go.
Yes. There you go. The Mummy. Now, I mean, I do think it's more enjoyable to watch the newer mummies,
Well,
but
do you
the
remember?
old one's good too. I mean, it's just different time periods, you know.
Do you remember when we talked about this when we went over it 3 months ago? And my
Yeah,
biggest point was how awesome the movie was for being so fast paced and being, like didn't waste time with too many side characters and you know what I mean, like all the good stuff. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Um, and like these early Universal horror films, maybe partly because they had to cut them out so fast. You know what I mean? But
yeah,
sometime
but
between this time and I want to say the '60s, every movie started to get bloated from being like an hour to hour and a half to maybe more like an hour and a half to 2.5 hours. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
not that a more movie could be good. I'm not complaining if it's good, right? But uh, like even in any of the remakes, because there are more remakes of this. There were like 6 Mummy films, right? That
yeah,
this
uh-huh,
Mummy, I think maybe appears in one more, but then there's another Mummy in 4 of them, right? And that
yeah,
other Mummy is the one that the Hammer films took as their remake character, right? Um,
right,
so basically, those who don't know this, in the Universal Mummy series, there's 6 or 7 films. The last one being Abbott and Costello Meet the Mummy, and uh, Clarice, uh, uh, no, Imhotep is the mummy in the first film. Clarice or Caris or whatever becomes the mummy in the other 4 films, right?
oh, okay,
Um, and that's the mummy that uh, Christopher Lee plays in the Hammer films, right? So then you jump forward to the Mummy remake with Brandon Fraser and what's his face is Imhotep, which is kind of obviously the original. Um,
hmm,
you know, but and was this the film we were saying where she was okay with the? Remember, I was going, she was okay with the deal until she learned she had to die first. That's the movie.
yeah, right.
Yeah, I was like, she was okay with the
Wait,
immortality
you
until she
need to
had to
die?
die.
What?
Like what? And then she like screw that and takes the power she gave her and just nukes him.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, and you know the remake was the 1999 one. They did. I thought they did a pretty good job on it. I mean, it was still fast paced.
It was fun.
Didn't have too many side characters.
Like this movie was a horror movie with creep factor, and the 1997 one was a kind of an action horror type of thing. You know what I mean? And
Hmm.
it was fun. It was like it's a fun. It was scaled up to appropriately to modern sense. This is what because modern sensibility, Imhotep's creeping around there is not going to be as scary. You know what I mean? So they had to
Yeah.
make him more of a menace. And I was cool with that. It was cool to changes.
Hmm.
Actually, the only thing I didn't like, my least thing liked in the movie was what's her face, Rachel Weisz or whatever. I mean, she's pretty looking, but
Yeah.
I've never been impressed with her as an actor.
Yeah. What I can still watch it. You know, it's still a movie you can watch over and over again.
Yeah, this is the case with a movie we discuss. I can watch either original or sequel, original or remake, or the Christopher Lee ones from I can watch Hammer films any time of the day. So it's
Yeah. So these are both good in different ways, and
yeah.
the time period is so different that they're basically different movies. I mean, they are different movies, but they're
They're loosely based around the same plot, so to speak.
right.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're.
Yeah.
I would
So
say they're both good.
so just to people who are listening, the original was the Mummy, the Mummy's Hand, the Mummy's Tomb, the Mummy's Ghost. I just grabbed the list. The Mummy's Curse and Abbott and Costello Meet the Mummy. Um, After Karloff left the role, although he did want to return, but he couldn't. There's a guy named Tom Taylor does in the Mummy's Hand, but then Lon Chaney Jr. becomes the Mummy for the Mummy's Tomb, the Mummy's Ghost, and the Mummy's Curse, and those are the ones that got remade as Hammer films, basically.
Yeah. So yeah, I'd say both of those are good. Both these versions.
Yeah, and honestly, both series of them were good. I enjoyed Mummy 2.
Yeah,
I thought Mummy 3 was kind of okay. I thought Scorpion King was okay.
they're both versions are very are rewatchable
Yeah.
to me.
Now that remake, or whatever you want to call it, in 2017, that's another case where you had a great cast and a hot actress playing the mummy, and then, well, yeah, I just looked it up. You know why it was bad? Because Robert Orkey worked on it, and everything he worked on is bad. There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
It was a Kurtzman and Orkey film. We know they suck.
Yes. Our next one is the Thing, or The Thing from Another World.
So this one is where my name comes into play, the Remake adaptation. So both of these movies, as well as the one you don't have, which is the unofficial remake,
Yeah.
unofficial adaptation, based on
What
John Campbell's John.
remake and prequel.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm not. That's another film.
Oh, okay.
So John Campbell wrote Who Goes There, which is a short story and a collection of short stories, very well received. He's one of the great science fiction writers editors of all time. I love this version of the movie. I love the John Carpenter version of the movie, and the one you probably have never seen, the almost Hammer film, Horror Express in the 70s, with Christopher Lee, Peter,
Yeah, I have heard of that one.
yeah, Telly Savalas is another. Basically, they couldn't afford the rights, so they changed it up enough from the story. Kind of how they did the original Nosferatu, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
and I love all three of them. They're all different movies. They're all different. Like if you ever read the original short story, each of them takes different aspects of the thing. Like
What now?
and like so they're legitimately different movies. You know what I mean? They're not. And this is a case when you do a
Right.
remat adaptation, uh, and you get two completely different movies that tell a similar story that are both great. All three of them are great to me.
And plus, Marshall Dillon is the Thing
Yeah.
in this one.
Yeah. Oh, both have great casts. All three have great casts. Actually, the best cast is the Horror Express cast, but that's a whole other thing. It's hard to beat those three actors. In one film. Cushing, Lee, and Telly Savalas. It's hard to beat that combo.
Yeah.
Plus, the other supporting actors were all great.
Mm-hmm.
We're having a Wikipedia on the first film.
Yeah. So this one, the 1982 one.
Yep.
Still freaks me out.
Well, it's a Lovecraftian style film. Plus, John Carpenter is, in my opinion, the greatest horror director of all time. The effects, practical or not, practical effects, but John Carpenter knows how to make his effects apply to his story in terms of horror better than any other director who ever did horror. James Wan is actually pretty good about it. So even his films I don't like the story for, I tend to like visually. A lot of the directors of the Hammer films are similar, but they don't have a lot of. But they never went over the top special effects with the Hammer films. You know what I mean? Like they were more character driven, right? This film just was the right time, right film. It's in a Lovecraftian in the sense that the ending is determinable if you watch the film properly. Hey, late night with Cat. Someone just came up there in the chat. The ending, but it left you with the sort of questionable ending, which Carpenter does in a lot of his movies, and but he does put the clues in the thing. You know what I mean? He does put the clues there. You have to discern them.
Yeah.
And of course, Kurt Russell is he's an actor who knows how to play Kurt Russell, and he does it he's usually good in anything he plays. You know what I mean? Because he knows how to play Kurt Russell. And his son has the same talent. I told that Monarch TV show. Him and his
Uh-huh.
son, because there's some like flashback stuff. Him and his son play the
Right,
same
right.
character in different time periods, and they're basically the main reason to watch the show.
Yeah.
But they're not enough
They're the
scenes.
only good thing about it.
Yeah. Well, that and Godzilla. It is like 10 minutes of screen time. Oh, this
So
I love this scene. I love it.
yeah.
Like
You gotta be kidding me.
like I think John Carpenter saw Aliens and says, Riddick, Ridley Scott really screwed the pooch with what he could have done with those things and went
Yeah.
over. Yeah.
He's like, oh, that's scary. What about this one?
Well, let's go a little further with the thing popping out of
Yeah.
the stomach.
Right.
Yeah.
The mouth popping out in the stomach and biting the dude's hands off.
Or the scene when McCready figures out how to figure out who's a thing, and
Yeah.
and totally realistically, like you're that screwed up, you wouldn't not be thinking, oh, we got one guy clear, let's free him up or whatever. You know what I mean? Because you're lost
Yeah.
in it, you know what I mean? So that totally a human reaction, and they're all like, "Come here, Lily, come here, Lily."
Yeah, and it's a hot needle, isn't it? Yeah.
Let me call up before we go to the
And
next movie.
the sets were great too. I mean, look at that.
Oh yeah. Back then they would really make the actors freeze their ass butt off.
Yeah, they did. Ah.
Oh.
Yeah, the part where the guy sticks his fingers in the guy's face, or it sticks its fingers in his face. Ooh.
And the thing I always contend to people about this, because when people go like when the humans are like, well, this thing, if it gets out of here, it's gonna take over the world, and people misunderstand. That's what the humans thought it was going to do, right? So
Yeah.
they're like part of the paranoia of John Carpenter's films is his protagonists are not necessarily good people or the good guys. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
like if you think of, have you ever seen The Fog?
Yeah.
There's a reason the monsters are attacking the town. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like
Yeah.
that town didn't get there by all happy people working together making their farms. They did something very horrible a long time ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or and like in this film, if you watch what the monster's doing, in my opinion, it doesn't want to get to the mainland and infest people, because if it did that, it could just stay the dog and just pretend to be a dog for another 3 months,
Yeah.
and it would have got everyone.
It would have made it.
It was more like, oh my god, these
It was
monkeys
trying
are
to-
going to kill me. These monkeys
He's
are going to
like,
kill
I
me.
gotta get
go
out
to
of
the
here.
ship and get out of here. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you got all the horror of the humans dealing with, but the horror of the monster being basically exterminated, and because they can't understand it, you know.
Yeah.
And remember, the monsters just come from a whole other installation where people were trying to kill it.
Right. So its immediate response was to kill everybody.
Yep. Now, in the story, the thing is evil and wants to do evil things.
Yeah.
In the short story, But Carpenter very wisely didn't make you. He presented the character's viewpoints, the thing and theirs, but he never made the moral choice for you.
Right. It was all up to you. So yeah, that's a good. Oh, there it is.
That's a glorious, creepy scene.
Yes.
If you want, I can give a few scenes from the other one, Horror Express.
No, that's okay.
You got to watch it
if you want to.
Well, I'll grab it if you want. You grab it because there's a couple. I try to. This is one of those movies I try to get people to watch all the time. It's what I call a pseudo Hammer film, because it's not really a Hammer film, but a lot of films were made in the style of the Hammer films. You know,
Yeah.
like there's the monster basically, and
It's kind of like a caveman almost,
yeah.
right?
It crashed in the mountain and got frozen in the glacier, and Christopher Lee found it, was bringing it back. They thought it was dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you watch, this is technically a Spanish film. If you watch a lot of Spanish movies, you recognize these actors. Besides Telly Savalas, Christopher Lee, and Peter
Okay.
Cushing. You know, I mean, this is some flashes so people can see what they're looking at. You don't have to go crazy about it. But point is, this is 3 times a story has been adapted, right? And in my opinion, all 3 of them are great. Right? Didn't we just talk about how many bad adaptations? The On Magnificent Seven from 2016. Ghost Crappers from 2016. 2016 is a bad year for remakes, isn't it? The Teenage Mutant Not Ninja Turtles or whatever. Was that 2016 as well? Oh my god.
Oh, it might have been.
I'm seeing a trend.
Check.
Maybe all the good moviness of that year was used up by Fury Road.
It's 2014.
2014. Yeah.
RoboCop was 2014.
Yeah.
Of course, Ghostbusters, the remake, was 2016.
Yeah. And obviously,
but they're all around in that year, 2014, 16.
That's when it began.
All went to pot.
And of course, you have the 2011 thing, which was a bad prequel. Well, I should say it was a sabotage prequel. Because it was originally supposed to be all practical effects with a slightly different storyline, and the studio made, because for whatever reason, they made them throw out the practical effects and go all CGI.
Yeah. So yeah, I thought the Thing from Another World was hokey, but it's still a fun movie to watch.
Yeah. But give you more of the dog.
So both of those are watchable. They're good.
Yeah. And rewatchable.
Right. Yeah. Okay, the next one is got Total Recall.
Oh God. So, and this is based on the same. Okay, so I almost said the wrong author. Philip K. Dick.
This is what happens to you in space. You take your helmet off.
So Phil K. Dick. We can remember if you wholesale. Short story, right? So I love this first movie. It's probably one of Arnold's 5 or 6 best movies, in my opinion. It's got great pacing. It doesn't try to it doesn't. How do I put it? It doesn't make more of itself than it. It knows it's not a serious, like an ultra serious science fiction film. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it knows it's supposed to be a sci-fi action. Oh, there he is again. We talked about him.
Wait, that guy?
Go back three or 4. Verhoeven.
There he is, right there.
Yeah. Maybe we just talked to him before from RoboCop.
Yep.
Yeah.
And of course, Ironside there.
Yeah. Michael Ironsides. Who, if you want to see him in a really good role, in the Final Battle, he shows up as a main character. He's really good in that.
That's the series V.
Well, there's the original movie miniseries V, then the sequel conclusion V, the Final Battle. Then there was a 1-season V, the TV show, which was okay. Then there's that V remake. Oh, look, it's a remake. Which had a lot of potential, but whatever. Anyway,
Yeah, and the remake of this, I don't even remember the remake from this. I mean, it's
I thought
nothing
it,
memorable in it.
no, I thought it was stupid. I kind of remember I said
Yeah,
the technique of watch the first 20 minutes. If you can stomach it, then put it over to VLC and
yeah,
fast
right.
speed through it. This is one of those. I think they were trying. Well, it does have
Yeah,
Kate Beckinsale and Jessica Biel, so there's plenty of fan service. But we do have Sharon Stone fan service in the first film, so um,
yeah,
the battle of the fan service, the true way to decide.
and Bryan Cranston in it too.
Yeah. The cast was fine. I think they were trying to adhere more closely to the short story, but the movie just never came together.
Yeah, yeah, it just didn't work for me at all.
Plus, Colin Farrell
It's
tends
a
to play the same character in every role,
yeah,
which works when he's in like phone booth when you want to dislike him, right? But it's horrible when
yeah,
when
right,
you're supposed to carry the film as the lead.
right. Yeah, so original is the best,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
and it's Arnold. So
And the short story is pretty good. I can't remember who wrote it. It's
yeah,
the same guy who
mhm.
wrote the Blade Runner short story.
Okay,
You Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep was the Blade Runner short story. I think it's actually the same short story collection, by the way, that the Total Recall comes from. We can remember from wholesale. I know they're
yeah,
linked. I know that they're linked in like maybe I don't know if they're supposed to be in the same world or they're just linked in the sense that they're in the same collection.
yeah. So we got one more movie, and it is True Grit.
Oh,
This again, this is like the 310 to Yuma.
yeah,
They're both good.
yep, and yeah, and like so True Grit. I hope. I'm trying to remember who directed the second one. It was the Coen brothers. Okay.
Yeah,
And the cast was both casts were great. The Coen brothers are good directors. You know, the tone of both films was good, but I don't ever need to watch the remake again. You know what I mean? Maybe
yeah.
no
I
one
mean,
has the charisma of John Wayne. No one in this. You know what I mean? You're gonna have trouble getting it. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
you take any
you're gonna
movie
have
Wayne
trouble
is
filling
in,
his
and
shoes,
his charisma elevates it to the next level. You know?
right? I thought the guy that played Cheney did a good job. Hang on, I'll be right back.
Okay. Yeah. So this is a case. Well, Jacob was dealing with the raccoon problem. So this is a case where it's a well-intentioned remake. They do a lot of the things right. It's in and of itself. If you've never seen the original, you probably love the remake, and then go back and see the originals. Oh, that's a good movie too. Like maybe it's the case of the first one you see is the one, but maybe you don't get John Wayne's charisma if you didn't live through it growing up or whatever. I don't know, but um, you know, I don't feel compelled to ever watch the remake again, like the first film.
Yeah, I mean, you have Glenn Campbell in the original,
Yeah,
and they
both casts were great. There's
Matt
no
Damon.
yeah.
Yeah, even the little girl I thought did a good job. She's not little anymore, but well, yeah. So yeah, I thought both were good. What's the guy's name that played Cheney in the new one?
Shane. There was a remake of Shane.
No, True Grit.
Oh, Jeff Bridges.
No, the guy that played Lucky Ned Pepper. That's who I'm trying to think of. I can't remember the guy's name.
Let me grab the cast of the new one. Hold on. Barry Pepper.
Yeah.
And okay. So Saving Private Ryan, he was Private Daniel Jackson. He was in Green Mile. Yeah, you've seen him in a lot of other stuff. Barry Pepper. He was Enemy of the State. He was in the Green Mile. He's in Battlefield Earth. We Were Soldiers. This guy's done a lot of work for a modern actor. Oh wow, he was in Mantis. That's a science fiction TV show on Fox. Obviously, it was canceled after one season. He was in Highlander the series as one of the.
Really, Highlander.
Yeah, is he the guy? I think they also serve season 3. I'm now remembering him. Highlander season 3. List of episodes. Okay, season 3.
Well, they got the location right in the second one.
Yeah. I don't remember who he played. He didn't play the Italian immortal who shot people. I thought it was him for a second. He was in Sliders.
Yeah,
he did a lot of stuff. This guy. Oh, I have to finish Bass Reeves. He was in Lawman Bass Reeves. I have to finish. I watched the first 3 episodes. I haven't watched the others yet.
Yeah, I haven't watched that one yet. So yeah. So both movies, both another original and remake that are both good.
Yep.
I just prefer the original.
Yeah, I think maybe John Wayne plus having seen the original first, I think is the trigger there.
Yeah. And that's it. That's all.
Any other honorable mentions you have? I could.
What was it? Ghost in the Shell.
I hated the remake.
Terrible remake. And live actions.
I'll go as far as Dune is concerned. The 1984 Dune is watchable, especially if you see the extended version. The sci-fi TV show was well-intentioned but bad. And so far, Denis Villeneuve has done very well with what he's done with the,
Yeah. I agree.
I was shocked. So it was, we mentioned early on, Kurosawa Yojimbo, right? That was Fistful of Dollars, Clint Eastwood.
Yeah.
Right. That's both are great. What else? Invasion of the Body Snatchers. That's a case where both of them, although the remake is technically a sort of sequel if you watch the movie. I thought both versions of that were actually good. What else? People gonna hate me when I say this. I like the original version of The Fly better than the remake.
Yeah. Yeah. Which they're different enough from each other.
Yeah, that I get why people like the Cronenberg one, but the original one just to me just what I mean, it just works for me more than Well, here's a bad one. The original Fright Night was a great movie. The remake is a 99 out of 100 horrible movie, another Colin Farrell piece, except for one thing. There's one scene in that movie which was amazing. Now, you remember in the Fright Night universe, vampires can't cross your threshold unless you invite them in, right?
Right.
So he's outside Charlie's house, and Charlie's like, "You can't get in. I didn't invite you in." So what he does, he pulls up all the gas pipes and blows the house up. And I was like, "Holy crap! That was actually intelligent writing for 2 minutes."
I can't get in, huh?
Writing. Yeah, 2 minutes. That was like a really intelligent writing, but the rest of the film was horrible.
Yeah.
Oh, here's another horrible remake. So, but it's comedically bad. The Wicker Man.
Oh yeah. Oh, bees in
Yeah,
my mouth. Oh.
yeah. Well, they turned into a YouTube meme of Nicholas
I
Mann
just know it from
in a
that scene.
yeah. It's like Nicholas Mann in a bunny suit or whatever he's in punches a man and gets chased by bees or whatever. It's like you know.
Yeah, weird.
Uh, trying to remember anything else I can
Yeah.
remember.
I mean, you could. It is a
Um,
rabbit hole
yeah,
because there are
I'm
so
trying to think of the
many.
ones people like would have heard of. I'm not bringing
Yeah.
up like obscure kaiju films or whatever. Like, oh,
Right.
I'm not going to mention Dracula. There's 7 different versions of the movie out there. You know?
Yeah. Cinderella. There's like I saw
Yeah,
Cinderella. There's like 12 different versions.
yeah. Something just kept, and I'm not opposed to doing like redoing a movie ever. Um, you know what I mean? Like, you get what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
just like,
What? Oh
oh,
yeah. There's a.
here's a good one. Okay, Japanese movie called Ringu. The American movie called The Ring. Both are good movies. Both are different. So there's
Okay.
another one that you can go look up. There you go.
Yeah. Oh, what was the? Yeah, Bullet. The movie Bullet.
Oh, I didn't give you my Steve
There's
McQueen
actually.
story.
Oh
This
yeah. Let me.
is
I'll say
go
this
ahead.
and
Yeah,
then we'll do that. Uh, the Bullet movie. I think it was what 67
late
was it
'60s,
or 69?
late '60s.
Okay. But yeah, they're doing a remake of that, but it's not really a remake. It's like a same character, but a different story.
Yeah,
And it's they got the guy that played or did the voice for Rocket Raccoon.
yeah.
I forget his name. He's playing Frank Bullet.
Okay.
I mean
And
it's not even I don't think they even started filming yet. I think it
it's already bad.
was started before the uh what was it? The huh?
Before what? Before the disease, the plague,
Yeah,
whatever you want to
before
call
before the
it. The
what do
coof.
they call it? Yeah, the cough from unknown origin.
Yes.
Yeah, so I think it just hit at the wrong time. So they haven't even filmed it or done filming yet. So I don't even know what that's going to look like.
It's going to be bad.
But yeah, just so do that. Do have the same character, but do a different story.
Yeah, that's
Instead of
quite
just
possible. Yeah.
one for
Well,
one copying
that's
the
what they're doing with
original.
Reacher. Reacher. In other words, Tom Cruise already did 2 of the novels in the movies, so they're not doing those novels anymore. They're doing different stories, right? And
Yeah,
in Reacher
yeah,
episode 1 or 2, they even referenced the Tom Cruise movie storyline he did for that story. Like so they said that
yeah,
so they indicated that story occurred between the first season and second season of Reacher already, by referencing the
yeah.
events of it. Yeah.
Right.
But
That's good.
so here's
Yeah, I'm
do
glad.
you remember
That's a
Larry
good
King
show.
Live?
I was.
Okay, go no, keep
Yeah.
going. Yeah. You haven't watched Reacher yet?
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm watching it. Yeah,
It's great.
I've watched the first one and I'm all cut up with the new one, new season.
So do you remember Larry King Live?
Yeah.
So I used to watch that a bunch in the '90s, right? And it was the anniversary of Steve McQueen's death, right? So he was having people on all week to talk about Steve McQueen. And I caught him one night, and he had Robert Blake on, who played Beretta on TV, who was one of Steve McQueen's best friends, right?
Uh
So
huh.
Blake was telling. So now Larry King knows more than he lets on. So he knows Blake had some good stories. He leaves Blake on to tell him a particular story that King had heard of but never heard on TV. And he goes, "Okay, I'll tell you about this time we were filming a movie down in Central America. Because I don't remember the name of the country. It's probably not there anymore, right?" He goes, "McQueen, I'm down there with McQueen filming this movie." And McQueen says, "I've been here before. I know a way around. Don't worry, Bobby. I'll take care of you." So we're filming the movie. We go out and then we go to a different bar, we're gonna take a drink and whatever. and we're filming. And Steve goes, "Hey Bobby, let's go to this particular town over there in a bar, and it's really good. There's beautiful women and everything there." So they go over there and they're drinking, and then Blake says, "All of a sudden I heard helicopters, and I heard in Spanish a bunch of people yelling in Spanish, and I knew a little bit of Spanish, and they were saying, 'Come out or we'll shoot you.'" And then the guy in like Spanish accent in English said, he goes, "Steve McQueen, we know you are in there. Come out and surrender now." And McQueen's like, "Crap, they found me." That's what he said. McQueen said. And he goes, "Okay, Bobby, I got you, man. I got you." He says, "You're gonna go to the back door, and when I give the signal, you're gonna run out the back and go back to the set, and I'll lead the guys away." And he goes, so McQueen goes up to the roof and distracts them, and he said McQueen was hopping roof to roof, right? And Blake goes, and then I just ran out the back door and went back to the movie camp. And McQueen saw that and goes, "I took care of it." And apparently, because Steve McQueen had, like Christopher Lee in real life was like more here, like remember the thing where you said how a person sounds when you stab them in real life and all that. Like certain people have real lives that are crazier than their movies. Steve McQueen was one of them.
Right.
like he had real life adventures. Like Brian Blessed in real life is like a soldier and everything. You know what I mean? It's like. So, but to this that Steve McQueen story, to the end of my days, I was the most funniest. Like, wow, Steve McQueen, wow,
I bet that's on somewhere. I bet you can find that clip somewhere.
I got to dig through. Well, Lion King Live, I know CNN. It's on their like streaming service or whatever. I'll try to hunt it. One day I'll try to hunt it down.
Right.
That's funny.
Yeah.
But
this was a good one. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoy looking at some of the flesh from those bad remakes, but I enjoyed the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, you got anything you want to plug?
Let's see. Well, I have my Friday show, Friday Fandemonium. Where I do things like unbox cool DVDs. I'm on. Well, we're up. I think we're both on Roman's show next week.
I think so. Yeah.
So we'll be on that.
Yeah.
I'll be on
the Black Hole movie.
The Black Hole, yeah. I'll be on your show almost every one of yours this month on Tuesdays and Saturdays. I have my own. I'm reviewing Reacher, Monarch, and Sharp, and when I get around to it, 30 Coins is a nice horror TV show from HBO Spain. I'm probably going to do another older TV show. Now I got a comfortable sort of fast review format I can do this stuff with. Though if you watch my Sharp reviews, if I enjoy it, I tend to run really long. I'm trying to watch that. That's more or less what I got going on. I can't tell you anything else. That's about it. Yeah.
Light Horseman on Tuesday.
Yeah, we'll be for that. Yeah, I got that. I got to watch that, and probably I got to watch that, and I got to watch rewatch The Black Hole for the first time in 15 or 20 years.
Yeah, I've never seen that movie.
It's good. The fact that you have the ability to not, how we mentioned earlier, some people can't watch old stuff because they can't like the special effects or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's one thing where if you can deal with that, you'll get the movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I watched Lost in Space, the old one. So
I was reading an article about that, or no, watching a video about that, and I had funny memories of Lost in Space when I was a kid, because there was a remake TV show of Lost in Space. I don't know if you knew that or not.
Yeah,
apparently
I've seen it.
Lost in Space, the original, the first season was a serious science fiction show, which I kind of remember. And CBS, it was because of the time it was on, which was called the Family Hour. CBS wanted to tone down how evil the Doctor was and how murderous the robot was, and make more comedy and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
So that I remember. That's why I remember when I found that out. That's why I remember thinking I don't like anything after the first season very much of that show. And
yeah, it was. It kind of turned into Gilligan's Island in space.
Yeah. And the remake show, which I enjoyed, it's like they took only the first season and as the character for the whole thing. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that's why I didn't realize that was why I enjoyed the remake until I learned that this network had sabotaged the show originally. You know, so
Yeah. Of course. But
but,
yeah, for me, we got Monday. I'll be on Words of Paradise's channel. Uh, some anniversary on there of his channel. Oh yeah, year anniversary of his channel, I think. Uh, and then I'll have my show, The Light Horseman. Then I'll be on Roman's show Thursday night. We'll be talking the Black Hole movie. I think that, yeah. And next Saturday will be, I think it's, let me look. I've forgotten. Yeah, next Saturday is favorite westerns. So that'll be fun too.
well, I can guarantee the
And
Magnificent Seven remake is not on that list.
yes, definitely not. So yeah, that's all I got. Well, man, thanks for coming and chatting about these movies, and
No
thanks to
problem.
the chat for hanging out. I enjoyed it, and we'll see y'all next time. Have a good week, everybody.